appropriate title and name.
Ah, thank you.
That was well chosen. Of course, I think you were
divinely channeled.
Oh, wow. Definitely.
Without a doubt,
Definitely.
nothing to do with me.
Age of New Beginnings.
Yes.
You know, and the thing about it is, like, earlier on we heard this gentleman spoke about the end times.
Yes.
And of course, in the end, then we have a new beginning.
That's right.
So when you think about it, you know, it's, as I said, you know, you chose, or you were inspired or impressed with a wonderful name and title for the age of new beginnings.
I honor
Yes.
the way you project that you, how can I say, drink in life.
Yes.
You know, and that you just saying that means the world to me.
Good.
You know,
Good,
and
good.
yeah, so
Yes.
the age of new beginnings is from this moment on, that to enjoy life, to
Yes.
let life be unlimited,
Yes.
and to appreciate who you are.
Yes.
And what's really nice is having all three of us, we're doing it in three different perspectives.
Yes.
And the program that we do on Tuesdays at the Beach Club Estate in Lake Ronkonkoma has to do with bringing out your intuitive gifts.
Yes.
And as you bring out those intuitive gifts, what you're doing is you're connecting to the divine ray of to be able to live your life in protection and in safety. And I think that too many people live in fear.
Yes.
And
I
the
agree.
more that you understand
Yeah.
the violet flame and the essence of different tools that the universe has for us to utilize in our life to feel free to be who we are.
Yes, I agree. I feel myself that I've felt this for a long time, that I want to say that mankind, or very many people, are still asleep.
Yeah.
Asleep on the realities of life,
Yeah.
and also asleep spiritually. There are so many people that cannot see a purpose in their lives. There are many, many people walking, and this is
It's like they're walking a fog.
Yeah,
To realize
yeah.
that they're searching, what is my meaning for life?
Yes, yes.
And what is the meaning? It's to be happy, it's to
Yes.
feel alive,
That's
it's to live
right.
life to the fullest, it's to
That's
enjoy
right.
our lives.
Mhm.
And so I like to think that we are a vehicle
Yes,
to project that.
yes,
And you have a delightful way with the violet flame, and I would
Yes.
love to kind of go into that.
yes.
And then we're going to go more with Joe, how he envisions that and his views on
Thank you.
hitting that.
Appreciate that
Of
opportunity.
course, of course.
I love, you know, like as we speak about that, you know, like mankind is still asleep, and that is where we speak about the enlightenment that's brought to the soul, where people can come to the age of new beginnings, and they will learn a lot. Their minds will be illumined. And also, I wrote a few things here to remind the soul, because I think the soul has all of it inside anyway. So
Yes.
what we're doing is we're reminding people of what they have within, the potential, that godly potential
That's right.
to reach the highest. And I wrote here to remind the soul of certain vital truths of the ages that he or she may have forgotten. So I had this there, forgotten. To raise a person's consciousness
Yes.
to new levels, to guide the soul into finding his or her true self,
Right.
to finding his purpose in this world. And we spoke about purpose not
Yes.
too long ago.
Yes, we did.
To release certain vital teachings of the ages, which will help a particular soul to find their way back to God.
The wonderful thing I love about what we do is we really project the essence. We're going to come back to this in 1 second. Is that we are all aspects of God. We
That's
are all
right.
the light. We are all that is. You are God. I am God. You are God. We are all different lights of all that is.
Yes.
And to respect who you are, and to honor who you are, and to live with life and excitement. and realizing that fear and negativity and all the things that consume us, that keep our
Yes.
minds busy,
Yes.
prevent us from our own divine connection and from enjoying life full, in the sense of listening and hearing to the flow of energy of life, you know, what to do next, you know, instead of, I guess, getting caught up in that busyness and getting consumed in, well, maybe I should do this, and this one needs me to do that, and that one, and you're really almost becoming codependent, where you feel that your value has to do of making their life better, instead of creating that balance between others and yourself.
Yes. And also, there's something else here too. When we go into like what we've been doing, the
Yes.
intuitive unfolding
Yes.
at
The beach club.
at the beach club.
And Lake Ronkonkoma, yeah.
Yeah, you know, people start, or there are lots of, now that's so important, I should say that, because there are lots of people in the work that I do as a medium who've asked me, you know, that's so important here, am I psychic?
Yeah, we all are.
Lots of people have asked me this, am I
Yes,
psychic?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and I say to them, yes, you are,
Yeah.
you know, because that is part of your nature. You know, but I've
A
always
God-given gift, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've always said to listen. I don't like the word psychic. I like intuitive.
Yeah.
You know, because we're all intuitive people.
We are.
You know, so one of the things that that we do at Age of No Beginnings is to teach people, seekers.
Yes.
You know, seekers who are genuine and who come in. And because sometimes people come in for the wrong reason, but there are people who want to grow spiritually, and this is a place where you can grow because you will get the information from, and I call Ellen Elder, from
It's precious.
Elder Ellen and myself, plus the thing about it is we are learning from them too, because don't forget, there are lots of people who don't realize that great potential, that godly potential, which exists within them. When they come in, they realize it. After a little while, you know, because we... Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
no, it was lovely. We've been doing a number of different programs, and seeing, like, there was that one particular woman that came,
Uh-huh.
and she was just like, really, had totally lost herself. She was
Yes.
so consumed in her family and the things that her responsibilities, that she didn't think very highly of herself by any. She was just so shut down,
Shut down.
very emotional, very disconnected. Really wasn't happy. I mean, it was amazing how she broke down. But after one of the programs that we've done, the shift in just one program that
Just-
we did,
yeah.
that one understanding of looking at life from another perspective, made her feel so empowered.
So empowered. That's the word, empowered.
Yes,
I love
yeah,
that word.
Can I
yeah.
share a perspective
Oh,
on that?
please do.
Yes.
So generally, what I notice is available, particularly in the programs at Age of New Beginnings, is the opportunity to be less distracted by the experience of the flesh, or being human. What happens is the ego distracts us,
Yeah.
right? So what happens is we're distracted by the ego. You know, it's trying to entertain us. We're believing what it has to say, and we lose touch with our spiritual side, which is the side that has us recognize the magnificence of everything around us, the magnificence of the people around us, the engagements, the beauty of everything that's around us, the trees, the grass, the people, the expressions on their faces, their engagements, their emotions. Because we're distracted. Rather than being able to embrace it and enjoy it and celebrate it, we've got our ego over there trying to distract us.
Right. I think another thing that's important for people to realize, that a lot of the pain and the things they go through in their body has to do with where they are at that time, kind of their energetic emotional blocks.
Yeah.
You know, and learning how to identify. I guess that's what we do at Age of New Beginnings. We teach them that, you know, from birth to our time now, we've experienced different things, and that kind of created the who we are.
Yes.
Our personalities.
That's right.
But when it stops us from enjoying our life, when we hold on to the things of the past and we're not enjoying the now. We're like worrying about what can happen in the future or what has happened, and we're so into that realm that this realm isn't fun. We're stressed out.
Right.
We're consumed with what if or what they did to me. You know.
Can I point out something
Please
in regard
do.
to that?
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out that, generally speaking, this just happens in my perspective, that there isn't really anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
That we're distracted and all that. You know, because one of the things that we realize when we really start the exploration is that we can't experience freedom if we haven't had the opposite of that.
Yeah, it's true.
You know,
You need
so
that
the
balance.
joy comes from the difference between feeling restricted and shut down, and then experiencing the relief of being let go, set free.
Yeah.
Without one, you can't have the other, right? So we actually,
you have to start from somewhere.
it's kind of like you know, the struggle is like the slingshot. You know, the more struggle we have, the more we're pulling back the slingshot, right?
Yeah.
And then when we become, we learn more, we become more aware of the substance of us and what we're about and our magnificence and how great we are and our true spiritual being. It's like letting go of the slingshot. Then the freedom that we experience from that is where, that's what we want. We want that feeling of freedom, joy, exhilaration, like,
Yes.
wow,
Yes.
this is what's available now. And without having pulled back that slingshot,
Right, that's
that's
true.
not available.
That's true.
So it's all good.
It is all good.
What we're trying to do here, though, is find the ways to let go of the slingshot so that we can have that experience.
That's right. That's
That's the
right.
thing.
And something else too, I think a lot of people, when we speak about what's my purpose in this world, I've had, you know, people, when they ask me what's my purpose, usually they're asking me about what career should I go
That's
into.
true. That's
A
very
lot
true.
of times, and you can well understand that because we're on the material plane, we're in a physical world, and that is very important. I mean, we've got to house ourselves.
We have to make a living to
You know,
exist.
we have to make a
That
living to
exchange of
exist.
energy.
But
Yeah.
most times it's like that. But then there's a student of mine, I said to her, listen, but do you know your real purpose in this world? What is your real purpose? And she says, well, I'm not too sure. Then I said, well, your real purpose, and here is something else here too, because there's some people who do not really believe that we re-embody or reincarnation.
That's true.
There are lots of people. It all depends on your earthly religion. It depends on culture. It depends on language. It depends on a lot of things. But a lot of people have never given that a thought, you know? Now, your real purpose is really to make the ascension.
Yes.
That is why we come and we will come again. Now, Ellen has a way, she said, until you get it right.
Right.
Until you get it right, then you make the ascension. But of course, career is also important.
Yeah.
I fully agree with that because like right now you're living in a material world. But you come and as you come, we're coming back to the age of new beginnings, which is a wonderful place because as you come into this center at the Beach Club, then eventually we touch on so many things, including that. So people now, what you already have, because we all have it, the soul has everything, then that starts, you become empowered.
Absolutely.
You become empowered and you start thinking, wow, you know, the ascension. And as you think about the ascension, then you start to think, but the ascension, wasn't it Jesus who ascended, or is he the only one who should ascend? And then you start to get info about that,
Right.
and then you're now being taught
Right.
how to ascend,
Exactly.
and certain tools that,
Yes.
that you use.
Right.
So you get a lot of info. What I'm saying to the people out there is that here is a place you can come, the age of new beginnings, where you will have invaluable info about so many things to do with the spirit and also the material too. But since we are spirit beings first with a body, we tend and care for the material sometimes more than the spirit. And we have to understand that the spirit needs tendering and caring for too. And also we have to learn about the ascension. And we have to learn about the violet consuming flame.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a beautiful prayer that you do that I absolutely love. Can you touch on that real quick so people can kind of connect to it?
The I am a being.
The I am a being. It sounds pretty out there, but when you listen to it, it's
Yes.
so beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
And it's so right on key that it really puts yourself in such a perspective where you realize, you know what, I am a divine being of violet, of light.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's so
I am the
beautiful.
essence. Go ahead. I love the way you say it. I love it.
The affirmation,
Yes.
because don't forget people pray, but I believe that affirmations are more powerful than a prayer. Because you affirm, all the ascended ones, including Jesus, affirmed, more powerful. I think it was Job who said, decree a thing and it will be given unto you. So I've always felt it and know it that the affirmation is more powerful. Not that you shouldn't pray, of course. Pray, but add to it affirmations.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay? So let me just say this little this affirmation. I am a being of violet fire.
I am a being of
I
violet
am
fire.
a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. This simple prayer.
Isn't that breathtaking?
And there is another one again you can say, that I am the righteousness of God in Christ. I am the righteousness of God in Christ. I'm a being of violet fire. But as from today, I would like to ask, and whoever it is that's listening to us right now, I would love to impart. I am imparting it to you. Begin to say it.
Yeah.
I am a being.
Now,
of
does that
violet fire.
resonate with you? It does.
Yeah, it does.
I am a
My perspectives are a little bit different.
Okay.
In that, for example, the notion of reincarnation, to me, I recognize that the experience of time and space is an illusion of it's a human-centric perspective. It's an illusion. It's not true. It's real to the extent that we experience it. However, it is not actually true. So actually, when we're remembering a previous life or seeing into the future, actually all we're doing is recognizing or tuning into a vibration, perceiving another vibration that's occurring now that we're perceiving as being in the past. So for example, if I'm remembering a past life experience, essentially, and as being a particular person, essentially what I'm doing is tuning into the energy vibration of that space of me, because part of my perspective includes that we are all organically one with all. I mean, not just the people of us, but the things of us too, the objects.
Oh, yes.
All of it.
It's all
Oh,
spirit.
and it's all
vibration.
energy.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and it's all occurring now, on the spot, always now. There is no past, there is no future. It's just a perspective that I practice, that I practice. So I'm influenced.
Yeah.
But
by that.
isn't it kind of like as you look back at past lives, 'cause I do past life regression,
Yeah.
and we work together, that it mirrors where we are now. So we have
It
a
affects
deeper
us now.
so in other words, when you see that we are doing something over and over that might not be for our highest and best,
Yeah.
that being conscious of it can help you
Absolutely.
identify it, honor it, and then allow you to shift it and change it. Now
Absolutely.
you can do it by understanding it, okay, your past life was, or you can do it in a session, which is a past life regression and the stuff that I do, that you're able to understand it, heal it, and start living your truth. So
Yeah.
it's releasing a blocked energy. I know we all do it in different ways, and there's no one way, but that's a very quick way to really do an insane DNA shift. It's like a quantum transformation.
I've done that with you, and it's been very powerful. And whether we call it a past life experience, our past, what happened when we were children, and all that kind we can put any label we want on it.
Yes.
It's still the energy vibration that's in our space affecting us.
Our energy body.
Yeah, so we get
hold
to heal
on
that.
to it in different
Exactly.
areas of our bodies.
That's right. We're tuning into that.
Yeah.
We have an opportunity to heal, and to choose what energy vibrations we want to entertain and embrace, and which ones we like to let go.
It's
Be free.
understanding that there's so many things that affect who we are, and learning how to do meditation to kind of go in to understand and to do energetic clearing work, to go into different aspects, dimensions of ourself, through meditation, and how to quiet ourselves to not only meditate within ourselves, but to bring ourselves to our higher selves, to have that divine connection, but also to see ourselves from a higher perspective, so we can see that we have choices.
Yes.
You know, and to not see us from beat ourselves up.
Yep.
That when you're connecting to your higher self, you're actually seeing yourself from a higher light, a more forgiving light, a more merciful light, that you're able to, you know, I am a good person, you know, and see yourself in a different perspective.
Forgive
and
ourselves, love
bingo,
ourselves.
exactly.
Allow ourselves to be, recognize that, you know, this is a part of the human experience that we've elected, and regardless of how it seems or looks,
Right.
the bad stuff, the good stuff, it's all the good stuff, really, because the experience of the physical is where we get to engage. You know, all the engagements are the points of conflict, let's say, are the points of engagement where we access the love, the joy, the beauty. For example, we can't see a beautiful yellow flower except for the stuff around it that's not it.
Yeah.
So if we don't see the stuff around it that's not it, we can't see the flower.
Yeah.
You see, so we have to see all the
We're
stuff.
too busy.
We're too distracted. So,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is we need the stuff that's not it.
Well, yeah.
You know, there's nothing, there isn't, let's just try this on. There is not and I challenge everybody, us and whoever's watching this, there isn't a single thing that in the human experience we can experience without the stuff around it that's not it, without comparing it to something else. Whether it be a sound, a smell, a personality that hits a button, whatever it is, if we don't compare it to something else, it doesn't exist. It fades out into nothingness.
So that's taking me back to
Okay.
when we speak about now that's another thing. I always say that though I was nurtured in the Catholic faith and well, I had no choice in the matter. I have no regrets either.
Yeah, right.
Though I was nurtured there, but I always say that if religion can enhance your spirituality, then it's good, and you should stay there. So when I talk, but I'm also saying that we're concerned about the unfolding of the Spirit. I always say that.
Yeah.
And in the unfolding of the Spirit, I always seem to just draw like a little diagram, and I speak of Jacob's ladder, and moving up Jacob's ladder, and you know the ladder has so many rungs. And every one of us, just like what you're saying, is exactly correct. Because some people are way down here on this rung, and this first one, and spiritually and mentally. And then you start moving up and you get higher and higher and higher until you reach the top, the very top. And if you call the very top the highest spirituality, or God, the Father, that's what it's all about. So in everybody has a God. And even the things that are not like, everything that has life has God. In fact, the inanimate objects, like you were saying, has God too. Because that is spirit vibrated at a certain frequency. So it's all about energy.
It's alive, it's vibrant.
Of
It is,
course,
it
of
is.
course.
Everything
so
expected of
listening to you, I love
Even a
that.
rock.
What you were saying there,
Yeah.
bang on. I love that.
Absolutely.
Thank
You. You know what I love, that we did a program and it went into love and all the different aspects of love.
Of love.
Right,
Yeah.
and how, go ahead, I love your feedback
No,
on
I
it.
love.
But
I would
love
love-
can take us in a lot of different places.
Yeah, because I said it's such a vast word, love. Love
Dynamic.
Love is all.
That's
And
what
my
it is.
daughter said, love, that's all you want. Love is all.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the different levels of love,
Yeah.
and so on. So it's a beautiful consciousness.
It's
you know?
multifaceted.
And- yeah.
It's dynamically multifaceted, and we experience it, we share it, we experience it in so many ways that we don't even recognize. For example, right now, our engagement right here, my giving you eye contact right now. That's my gift to you. That's me. That's the same. We don't recognize this. Okay, I'm letting everybody know here.
That
This
is
my,
love,
that's
it's
me-
respect.
my belief. That's me telling you that I love you.
Yeah.
You're worthy of my attention. You know, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You interest me. You're magnificent. I'm demonstrating that by my giving you my attention.
That's right. Yeah.
And the simple things, a pat on the back. That's the same thing as saying I love you.
Yes.
We don't recognize it as
That's
that,
true.
but that's what it is. We're kind of tuned off. We're not really tuned into how dynamic love is. It's like a diamond. It's multifaceted. It's got many sides, and we express in so many different ways. We experience so many different ways that if we can validate that more often, we'd have so much more joy in the world. Like, for example, just eye contact with a stranger on the street.
Yeah, brightens
Two
their
people
life.
saying right on the spot, "I recognize you. There you are in my life. Thank you for the engagement. I love you." We don't have to speak. We keep going. But when we recognize that that's love right there, that's a spot of joy.
Yes.
That expands. And
That's
expands.
one's projecting their light to somebody else. They're
Exactly.
respecting and honoring that person, so their light they beam.
Ready for this? When I came into this building today,
When,
Yeah.
when you were coming in.
when I was coming in, I was coming up the steps,
Yeah.
and you said, we said hello to each other, and you said, "Hello, sir," or something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
said hello. I said hello, sir.
With
Very
joy.
respectful.
Yes.
He had a big smile on his face.
Right.
Right? It's like,
Yes.
that was such a gift to me. It was like, you just enriched me. It was like, pow.
Yes.
You know, you affected my gait walking up the steps.
Yes. And you look back and you looked at me and
I said thank you, didn't I?
That's right.
I said thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was something.
Those are the simple things that we can do to make every day a better place.
That's right.
But to realize that love has many different things. So it could be the most delightful thing in the world too. But love, if you're overbearing, it's not a positive love. You know what I'm saying? When you don't let somebody breathe. It's not a so love has many different things. In other words, just because you're projecting love, you have to learn how to do love in a healthy way. A way that's not consuming, it's respecting and honoring.
We want it to be a gift.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you believe, may I ask, do you believe that you have to make the ascension one day? You believe that, right?
I don't think that we have to do anything. I think that the have to is a human-centric perspective. The judgment that there's good and bad. I don't even believe that there really is good and bad, except for the labels that we put on the things because of the way we perceive it.
Okay.
I think that it's all quote-unquote good, because without one, you can't have the other. If we don't have the things that appear to be bad, we can't recognize the freedom and the joy when the parts that we call good come in.
Now, we're not saying that bad's
No.
a bad thing.
Yeah.
What we're saying is in the idea of the consciousness of the unfoldment or the ascension is about people learning how to let go of the negativity.
Well,
that
the
it
way-
doesn't
yeah.
define them.
I get that.
And that when you allow yourself to clear and to feel balanced, to have time to live life fully, but have time for yourself to honor yourself and honor that, I am holding on to a lot of could be insecurities, it could be anger, it could be whatever it is, and where we're holding it, and learn how to clear it so it's not dictating our life.
Well, to answer your question, I see that as opportunity rather than a have to or should be.
Right.
It's like an opportunity, and who doesn't want the opportunity to experience joy and love?
Yeah.
That's what we want that.
But one of the things that are being taught by the Ascended Masters, who know a lot more than us, is that we have to purify that energy which we are. You're a portion of energy, and you will agree with that.
Yeah.
And everything you're saying, I love it. I love you have to start from somewhere to get somewhere else. I love all of that, because that's why I spoke about the Jacob.
Thank you. Yeah,
You gotta fix your mic.
Yeah.
Gotta fix your mic.
Yeah, when we were talking about moving up that ladder, and I think that that's important, as you adjust that if you stay stuck and you don't take time to honor yourself and what you're feeling, then you're not enjoying yourself your life as much.
You're losing out on the
That
opportunity
precious,
to enjoy
yeah,
love.
exactly.
That's what we're here for, to
Right.
enjoy it, embrace it.
You wanted to go further about Jacob's ladder?
No. I was speaking about the purifying of energy.
Yes.
The energy which you are has to be purified. And there comes a time, as Jesus said, remember in the Bible where he said, I'm going. You see, I'm going to prepare a place for you. And he ascended.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I'm just saying to you that every one of us has to make the ascension one day. Now, to some degree, I agree with you about, you have to come from somewhere to get to somewhere. Right now, this is a shadowy world, and I agree with you on that. The real world is on the other side, the invisible realm. Now, the whole universe belongs to God. It's a spiritual universe, but with varying dimensions. Now, this is a school of learning. So all the, if you want to call it, the portions of energy attached to the Godhead are expelled. If you want to call this the Godhead, the I am of infinity, or you call the Godhead a huge sea or a waterfall or whatever, every little piece is expelled here that has to learn the spirit to grow spiritually. So we come here and we learn and we grow, and if it means that we have to return again, we come back. It's not easy to prove reincarnation. I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, I think that we really do experience reincarnation. That's real, but it's not. When I say there's a difference between real and true.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's real, I feel, is what we perceive and live in.
Okay, but the physical world we're talking about.
Metaphysically.
But you're metaphysical. You're spirit first. Remember I said that?
That's right.
Yeah.
You are spirit first with a body, not the other way around. You're not a body with a spirit.
Exactly.
Remember today, you're spirit with a body.
Yeah.
So there comes the time, and don't forget, the spirit is eternal. The body stays right here. So there comes the time when the transition comes, which it is a transition.
Yeah.
You will leave the body will rot, and the spirit will journey back to the spirit world. Now, sometimes in some religions, they say you go to heaven or hell.
Yeah.
Now, guess what? I don't think that where you go to is a bright plane which you have created for yourself through your thoughts, your words, and your deeds right now. So you are making your home on the other side.
But I also think that heaven on earth is available to everybody.
Of course. Most
It's how
definitely,
you live your life and how you believe.
Yes.
So if your belief factor is that I am all that is, not there's no ego, but that we're all essences of God, and that we're all here to enjoy our life and to see what we can do to shine our light on others to make the world a better place.
Heaven, to be honest, the way I see it is, these are all mental states.
Yes.
Heaven and hell. I don't believe...
That we do to ourselves our own prison, actually.
Yeah, we do it to ourselves. And guess what? We can take ourselves out of hell anytime we want
Absolutely.
And into heaven.
Huh?
And into heaven.
Yeah,
And into heaven.
Into enjoying your life.
Yeah, so...
Into the higher
So,
consciousness.
yeah. So you're right. But I was just going to talk on something. Because, you know, when people pass on, I've heard it so many times, my loved one is in heaven. Nobody wants their loved ones to go to hell. Let's face it. Everybody.
Most 95%, maybe. Then 5%.
You know what I mean?
Maybe even more.
It's not really. You go
I'm
in-
laughing about it, but it's not really
very
funny.
That's funny.
Gotta make light of things.
It's very funny.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants.
Nobody
You don't
wants to
want
see
your
anybody
loved ones to
suffer.
go to hell. There's
Even
some-
if they gave it to you.
that, oh, sure, you know?
But that's only perception. If you accept that.
That's
We
right.
don't live there. We don't accept
But
that.
you know what I see as the real heaven now is the heaven of the ascended masters. That's the real heaven when you will make that ascension. And when you make that ascension, you will come back as the ascended ones do. But that frequency is really nothing for them. It's such a low frequency. What they do is they materialize and dematerialize. The ascended ones come here and they work all the time. But unless you have the eyes of the spirit or you're clairvoyant, you can't see them. When you make the ascension, you enter the real heaven. Now, before that time, it's possible some of them who made the transition may have ascended too. So they will go into a heaven, to the real heaven. But the places you go to will be where you have selected for yourself. It could be a very, very bright plane that resembles a heaven. You know why I'm saying that to you? I'm not trying to, I'm listening to you, and you're very informed, and you're also very spiritual, and you're very intuitive. So I understand that.
Yeah.
This I'm telling you here, I have seen it. And they've also taken me to one or two hells too. The hells of our making.
Right.
No God leaves his son or his daughter in any place called hell. You leave yourself there. When you're ready to leave it, you will leave.
Well, metaphysically speaking, if we break it down to the substance of which we're made, there is no third party. You know, it's all what's occurring now on the spot, all part of us. The God, heaven, hell, it's all vibrations of us
Yes, it
now
is.
on the spot. There is no
Yes, it
third
is.
party.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anything that I see that looks like hell, it's a part of me. If we can see it, it's a part of us.
Yeah.
If we could, even if we're sitting here thinking that we're, not one who participates in that evil, If we can recognize it and it affects us, it is a part of us. We can. It's just a matter of under what circumstance, what is our threshold that will have us do that we may not have recognized.
Yes.
You know, if it's not a part of us, we can't see it.
Let me say something
Go ahead,
here.
Rob.
There's one thing here, as you mentioned this.
Yeah.
In my book, I read in my first book, I said, when you look in the mirror, whom do you see?
Wow.
Whom do you see? Do you see yourself, or do you see a reflection of a shadow? Because when you look in the mirror, you can't see the spirit. You see a physical body, but that's not the totality of who you are.
Not even close.
Okay?
I'll take it
And
even a step further. I mean, you know, we might need to do a few shows, you know.
I think that we will.
But like, for example, we're talking about the physical space and the bodies and the reincarnation and all that. So
Yes.
see, actually, what you're saying about, you know, our being spiritual beings having a physical experience, a life experience.
God is having God is having an experience through us.
That's
Essentially,
Yeah,
essentially,
Yeah.
the way I see it is that there is actually no body. What's actually occurring is there's only energy vibration, and we perceive the energy vibration. And we've got these different categories of perception, tools that we have in this conglomerate, this primitive conglomerate of observation. Okay. We have hearing, smell, vision, and these are all touch, and these are all different ways that we are simply perceiving energy vibration. So we have labeled the different categories. So when we, for example, when there's a touch and we hear a sound, we say, oh, well, that's a physical thing. But meanwhile, we're only spiritual, quote unquote spiritual, only energy vibration, and we have an experience of physical because of how we perceive the energy vibration. So that our spirituality is nonstop, perpetually existing.
In this realm, we do have a physical body that we hold energy, and then vibrationally we can choose to shift that energy. Yeah. But we did incarnate in this life, and we did have our experiences, and we do have our physical body that we feel and experience life in different ways. I mean,
that's a perspective.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I feel it's all energy vibration, and then we perceive it, and we perceive it physical, and there is none.
We do have muscles, and we do have blood flowing through us, and we do have different things that... Go ahead.
No.
Conglomerate of energy vibration.
Listen, not too long ago, I think I spoke to you, Ellen, and I said to you about the energy.
Yes.
And I said that we have always been utilizing bombs and guns to get rid of terrorism and terrorists.
Right.
And I was saying, and when you come to the knowledge of the violet consuming flame, it's actually the highest vibration on the face of this earth today. Yeah. We're talking about vibration or frequency. Yeah. And we use that a lot metaphysically. We use it as a protection around us, you know, to protect your aura. And as you know, this is where, you know, entities or low-level energy vibrations can cling to. You see it in drug addicts and also alcoholics and so on.
I see it every day.
You see it every day.
Yeah.
So that violet consuming flame is something, if you haven't not yet studied the violet consuming flame, it is something that has been given to us a long time ago. That flame has existed side by side with mankind for ages, unknown to the vast majority.
Right. Available.
Available too.
Yeah.
But they're not conscious of it. It's a
conscious.
shame that we're not taught about it.
So at Age of New Beginnings, we
absolutely
give people that information.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they can live with no cost on their own realm to utilize this from when they wake up, when they go to bed, that everything in life is an energy.
That's right.
Which is true in the sense where if somebody is having negative thoughts and saying, oh, blah, 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 that person, those negative thoughts are something that we can absorb.
Yep.
But with the violet flame, we're able to transmute it.
Yes.
And we're able to prevent it from consuming us.
Yes.
And so it's when we do a lot of the meditations, there's different types of meditations, and they're all exquisite.
Yes.
But one particular one we use with the violet flame. And the essence of all that is, an Archangel Michael, which is the Archangel of strength and protection, and brings the force of all that is,
of all the
angelic realm.
The angelic realm with him when he comes.
Right. So people pray to Archangel Michael quite frequently.
Yep.
And in other words, when I put it out there, the way the logo of Age of New Beginnings is, it's a beautiful diamond of light, beautiful diamond, which is the essence of who we are, our soul essence. And then the side of it is the wings of transformation, and it has
Nice logo.
the colors of the chakras. So as we clear away the things that we hold on to, it frees us to ascend to all we choose to be. Because it's free will, it's a choice. And if we choose to live our life happy and choose to, it's funny, it's like how people get caught up in money and this and that and things that they hold on to, when they realize when you're at a highest vibration, anything you need is always there for you. You don't have to worry about money. That life kind of flows, and it just, it's limitless, it's exciting.
That's a vibration we all need. Because, you know, if you think about thoughts, there's so many people who sometimes can project their thoughts or do project their thoughts haphazardly into the universe, not realizing the power of
The
thought
effects.
and how it creates both neg and pause. So what the violet flame does, and does it very well, when you use it on the mental and the emotional, it cleanses and purifies these bodies, because these are spiritual bodies. And since it's actually the highest vibration, it's a pure energy from the Godhead. Of course, at Age of New Beginnings, we teach you how to call it forth. You know, you have to invoke it, because don't forget,
The universe will give you anything
Powerful
you want.
being
You
able
have
to
to
do
ask.
that.
you know,
Yeah.
and since we have created the human discordant creation, then
As
we alone
individuals.
can uncreate it. Nobody can do it for us.
That's true.
So you've been taught. We do that at the Age of New Beginnings, where we teach you about the flame. I like to teach about who gave us the flame, who is Brother Saint Germain. He's the Lord of the seventh ray and the keeper of the violet consuming flame. By the way, it's also called the sacred fire, and by the way, it's on par with the Holy Spirit. So you know,
It's all the same, right?
all
it's
the
all the
same.
same.
It's all the same.
It's
It's
on
all
par
the
with
same.
the Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
but it's very real.
Absolutely.
And this,
accessible.
Yes, and accessible.
and guess what? You know what I said with regards to the terrorism and terrorists?
Yes.
This is something that Jesus spoke about. You can go into John chapter 1, verse 17, where he said, Moses brought law, but I bring grace and truth. And the grace he was speaking about is the violet consuming flame. The mercy flame, we call it, or the freedom flame. It's also the ascension flame, because through the ascension, you become truly free. Once you make that ascension,
It's a wonderful way to clear away cords.
that's right.
In other words, you
Yeah.
teach a lot of wonderful things that I cherish, and it's realizing that, you know, there's different things in our lives that that we don't have to hold on to, you know, and that
Huge.
could be there could be relationships that kind of that could define us if we allow it to, because it's not who we are. It could be our parents and the way we interpret our parents. That I'm a bad little girl, or or I broke something, or whatever it is of how we. I remember a time in my life where I used to say I'm sorry a lot, because my mom would make me, at that time, my perception. And that's why I think this is a beautiful way that we all do life coaching to help people and teach how to free themselves of those old cords, those old beliefs, those old limiting aspects that aren't real unless we are consumed with them.
Yeah, we give it power.
Yeah.
We can let it go.
energize it,
Yeah.
right, and
Yeah.
how to let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the flame does.
Yeah.
Because
That's a
it's
beautiful
powerful,
tool.
as Ellen said, it transmutes, and as
Yeah.
it transmutes, it transforms.
Yeah.
Now,
That's the thing, transformation.
yeah.
It is, that's everything.
Because sometimes it's just a matter of transforming the energy into something powerful that is a gift of love. I mean,
Yes.
that's a gift, not just
Yeah.
a symptom of, but is the gift.
Yep. And what can we do? What can we do with the terrorists and terrorism using the violet consuming flame? Because we're talking about low energy and high energy.
Yeah.
But you
And
know what?
purifying that
Absolutely.
energy, because
But
we all are God's children.
Absolutely, but to understand that they are God's children too.
That's what I
and
just
they're
said. Yeah,
living
yeah.
from their perception
Yeah.
that they're doing good. They
Yeah.
don't realize that,
Yeah.
that they're really, you don't want to kill anybody.
Because
that we can all live together
Yeah.
and be happy. And,
God's law.
And sending love. Yeah.
Thou shalt not kill.
That's right.
Okay, so I don't get it. I can't seem to get it, regardless of whatever words they use, how you can become a martyr by committing suicide and taking as many with you to the other world, and then to be served by maidens.
Well, I can share a perspective that might
Okay.
clarify that.
Yeah.
You know, coming from the perspective of that we're all organically one, even if they believe that. Let's say they believe that
believe
we're all.
that.
Let's say that they do. I don't know if they do, but if they do, maybe they just consider it like cutting out cancer.
Right.
A part of
Yeah.
us
Right.
that's not well in disease, and it's spreading to kill us.
Right.
So maybe to them, I'm just making this up.
I
don't know if
think
this is
that's
true or not.
it is
To
true,
them,
I believe.
they're cutting out the disease.
Right. Right.
Well, chemically, it's better for me, the way I look at it,
Yeah.
and I have assessed it.
Yeah.
Because cause and effect, that's karma. And
Yeah.
chemically, would be much better for us to, all of us, pull
Yeah.
together now.
Of course.
And this is why we have to teach
Yeah.
Yeah.
the violet consuming
Absolutely.
flame, teach them what it is,
Yeah.
how to use it.
Yes.
First, use it on yourself. Then, after self-healing, you project it into the world.
It's like the violent flame is like preventing the cancer that needs to be cut out.
It's transmuting
Creating
it.
an
It is.
environment where
Yeah.
cancer doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's purifying.
Bec-
Yes.
Purifying.
That's what happens.
Yeah, I get it.
Transmuting,
I get it.
transforming.
Yeah.
And I think together, all of us,
Absolutely.
people watching,
Yeah.
they first have to come to understand the flame.
Yes.
When we
Yes.
talk of the violet flame, what are we talking about? And then we can give them a little history about who gave us the flame,
Right.
Yes.
and about the master, the ascended master. But one thing that people have to understand, that we can get rid of all the terrorism and all the terrorists without guns and bombs.
Oh,
That's right.
Now, I know these things are a necessary evil, the wars and things like that.
Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe, well, people say this all the time. You hear it from politicians and you hear it from other people. But
maybe not.
I believe that we have to start thinking very, very seriously about that, about just what I said, you can learn about the flame. You can, there's one place that you're learning about it now, the
Yes.
age of new beginnings.
Right.
And I believe, that's why I believe that God is going to assist us so much, because that's such a powerful message, and also a powerful information to people. They can they have to use that flame that has been given to us by brother Jesus, and it's the grace. I've heard some of the preachers. I don't mean, I'm not debasing nobody, criticizing anybody. They speak a lot about grace. There's no doubt about that. I listen to Joel Austin. I listen to, there's another one, Joseph Prince. I listen to a lot of them, and they talk about grace all the time. Not one time I've heard about the violet consuming flame, but they speak about the Holy Spirit. So I'm not too sure if they know it's the same thing.
Maybe just different labels.
But
That's what
maybe
it is.
different labels. Maybe
Yeah.
because with Joel Austin the last time, no, it was Joseph Prince.
Okay.
In the background was violet and blue.
Oh, really?
His background when he was preaching, and I thought, wow, look at Brother Michael the Archangel's color there.
Yeah.
And
But I love the way we put it out there, that we turned up the fire.
God,
Right? In other words, that we have a beautiful, pure white light of all that is. But when we use the violet flame, it's like we're turning up the fire within ourselves. We're igniting it with the essence of all that is.
Yes, yes,
you know,
yes,
that connection, clearing and purifying it with
Absolutely.
that, turning it on, you know?
yes.
So,
We're going to have this Shambhala in this world. It's going to come.
It is
the
coming.
Eden, it's coming. People are becoming more spiritual.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
They-
Despite what's happening, all the negatives
you know
we
what?
hear and see.
We're going into new dimensions.
New dimensions.
And
Higher consciousness.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That a lot of people don't even know what that is. But it's really that at this time, in this age, we're becoming more sensitive to everything, you know, where we can either use it where it makes us feel lousy intensely, or we can feel alive when you start to understand on how we can empower ourselves, you know,
Yes.
understanding the law of attraction, understanding that our words have power,
Yes.
understanding that there are people that are there for them, that we have to help support them on their journey to make it where they stay on track to loving themselves.
Yes.
And so they can feel good about themselves, so they can, and it's nice because we have many different ways of doing it. You know, we were talking about at the Age of New Beginnings, we practice several different ways. We use meditation, we use yoga, we use,
Just have the spiritual and Reiki healing.
you know, absolutely, but you know what, people think of spirit readings, like psychic readings, like, oh my God, it's like they're the devil or things like that. And the programs that we have with the Psychic 101 is about opening up to the divine connection. You know, it's not like a gypsy who wants to trick somebody. When you do connect, or you have someone that's able to help you connect, you're connecting to the side to realize you don't have to hold on to that. I should have done this before they passed. I should have said this. I should have spent more time with them. And when you connect to the other side, they don't want you to suffer, and to give them the peace of mind
That's
that
right.
to not live in their own hell of worrying about, I should have done this differently.
Yes.
That everything divinely happens at that moment because it's preordained.
Yeah.
You know.
The
in our
spirit
development.
world and this world, you know, the veil that divides this world from the invisible
Right.
is so thin now.
Yeah,
Very, very
that's
thin.
the new dimensions it is.
Again, because
is
of,
true.
very
Well, but
thin.
also that if somebody really
Yeah.
isn't happy here, they can cross over.
Yeah.
You know, so it's to help people out of depression, out of their abuses, out of a lot of the wonderful things that you love projecting and do programs on, right? Yeah, in a sense of finding their own inner power.
Yeah, finding opportunities. I look at it like finding opportunities for freedom.
Yeah.
In places where typically we would stop, feel shut down. You know, what if when those engagements happened, when the conflicts came up, we saw them as opportunities to have joy? So I say that conflicts are cracks through which love flows. Those are the points of engagement where we access the love.
Yeah.
You know? Without them, we have less spots of engagement, less access to the love. You know?
Yeah.
And conflict is just one label that we put on where things meet.
Yeah.
You know, just like, and there isn't anything that we could look at that we can see only because they're meeting against something else. Just like I was saying before, we can't see a flower except for the things around it that are not it. And those are the points of engagement.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I think it's so funny
Yeah.
though, but when people are at their lowest ebb is when they connect to God. It's when they're finally ready to, all right, God.
What else is there? What else is there? There's got to be something else.
I promise never again.
What's the point of surrender? It's like there's
It
we
is.
just realize there's nothing that we could do. We just have to have faith.
Thank you.
How many minutes?
Bye.
You know what? You know, when we speak about the violet consuming flame, and I know I'm not trying to detract from
No,
anything here.
No, it's good.
I think it is so. I have actually met a few people, alcoholics, you know,
Yeah.
and I did mention that earlier, and even drugs too. And you know, they go to these places for treatment, and they
Yes.
do get treatment there, you
Yes.
know, the
Yeah.
AA places. But then I say to them, there is something deeper that has to be done, and it has to do with the spirit.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people don't know that. Well, Ellen, you know that. You know there are earthbound spirits.
Of course, absolutely.
It's people who leave their bodies, spirits who leave their bodies, and many times they don't even know they're outside their bodies until
Yes.
maybe the guides come and say, listen. In fact, the only time they come to know.
Anybody does. Dude.
It's like when you do therapy on
put on
those
you.
guys and say, okay, it's okay to ascend, you know, but they feel like they have a mission or something they need to complete before they go, or they don't feel valued enough to go up there, that they don't deserve.
or sometimes too they were very stubborn.
Yeah.
They never wanted to listen to nothing, and they find themselves, outside their bodies. And guess what? Some of them too, that as we're speaking about the addictions, alcoholics
Right.
and drug addiction. Sometimes another thing I was shown. They took me to a bar one time. That's why I went off bars.
Right.
And they.
But what we're going to do is, if we can, we're going to be shooting our next show.
A next show.
And we're going to
Okay.
talk about attachments.
Attachments.
So, in
Boom.
other words, when you realize that the spirits that do walk this realm, there are spiritual attachments
Yes.
that consume them, that make them where they can't feel that they're able to overcome something.
Overcome something. Yeah.
But I would really want to make sure that people know that we are there for them, to contact us, Age of New Beginnings,
Yes. See this.
that they can call 516-924-1399 and book their time. And,
You-
and that we're actually doing something where you're able to spend, I think what was the price or something that we were doing? It was insanely reasonable that we were giving almost like a free time to kind of see what it's like for someone to energetically connect with them, to hear them, to feel like you're being honored and heard, and someone to kind of walk them through where they are,
Yeah.
That's a great opportunity.
Yeah, it is. I think when so many people feel so either lonely or disconnected or thank you, that we're here to listen and that we
Ellen,
care.
Well, you want us to say? I'm going to say 3 minutes.
Yes.
You want us to say? See a little affirmation here before
I
we close.
love that.
Awesome.
Okay, before we close,
Yes.
we're told to forgive. We have to
Yes.
forgive, all of us.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very, very difficult, and we have to dig deep for forgiveness. But we move on, and also we get so much back if we can do that. And I do just like to say, I call on the law of forgiveness. So let us hold hands.
Yes.
We call on the law of forgiveness for any mistakes we have ever done, whether we know of them or not, and to forgive all human mistakes and annihilate their cause and effect from mankind and the earth forever. Father God, beloved mighty I am presence, you are the only intelligence and power acting here. Take command of our minds and our bodies now. Hold your dominion and produce your perfection. Take possession of our beings and worlds now. Prepare us and see that we make our ascension when you are ready for us. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful gift.
And thank you for joining us. And Ellen Pellegrino, Norbert Launcher, and Joe Simmons, that we are in gratitude for you taking the time to tune in and getting a better idea of some of the things that we're very passionate about, and that we're here for you.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Anything you want to add?
I just would like to say that I'm so happy to be here.
Okay. And how about you, Joe?
It's the same. I'm just experiencing gratitude, celebration for the opportunity to be here and engage with both of you and with the people who are watching. It's a wonderful gift.
And I think it's a wonderful blessing that if someone did feel that they needed some love or some empowerment, that we feel very honored to help them
Yes.
to feel and to know that they're divinely very special.
Good.
Each and every one of
I would
us.
like us to have another one. I
Yes.
think that we could go into
So many
some of the stuff. There's a lot.
So much.
And I would
endless.
like to welcome you back with us again.
Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
We're,
Yes,
we're
I
going to
would.
have our please look out for our second show that we will be having shortly. Thank you for joining us.